Hey, and hello, everybody. Welcome to Speaking of Schmoedown, a sports talk show devoted to the movie trivia Schmoedown. I do want to say right off the top here, we're having some issues with stereo, so we are not on stereo today this week. Sorry about that, everyone. But feel free to leave whatever comments you would leave there in our chat here. But hopefully we'll get that back up and running for next week. Go ahead and subscribe to everything while you're here. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the stereo and everything else. We ain't gonna waste around with no more. We have an echo. Sorry. Let's take a second. Hold on a second. Let me see here.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we're trying to fix it.
Is there still an echo, Frenchie? Sorry, everyone.
It sounds pretty good about it now.
I muted Soda is why we don't have the echo anymore.
Damn it.
My apologies, everyone. I'm not a tech person. We're just having a little bit of issues here. Please bear with us.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. How y'all doing today?
Is it back again, Frenchie?
Yeah, well,
we good?
No, it's back a little bit now since I unmuted you, Soda.
Whatever. I was always having issues. One stream, there's no echo. The next one, like 10 minutes later, there's an echo. So yeah, give me a second.
All right, I'm gonna mute him here real quick and talk for a second. Sorry about this, everyone. But thank you very much. Hey, that's what happens when.
I'm gonna fill in for Soda for a second, and to answer Chris's question, we're doing really well. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm happy to be here with y'all. I had fun last time.
Sorry, these buffoons ignore you. I'm not gonna ignore you, my friend.
Thanks, Frenchie.
Well, it is kind of awkward when we're trying to talk and we're trying to listen for technical difficulties. So it's
all right.
Cool.
So Soda's back. I'm out.
All right.
I don't get it. Like I said, one stream is fine. And then like 10 minutes later is an echo. I give up.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And my speaker is nowhere near my mic.
It happens. But hey, guys, we're gonna get back into the show here. We're gonna get right into it, into hot matches. Let me put up this graphic here, help out a little bit. What we're gonna do is each match, we're gonna go through. Each match does not have a time limit. Actually, it does 5 minutes. My bad, which I will control that. Anyway, Frenchie is the only one who is aware of time markers throughout our 20 minutes of talking about these matches. And when his timer goes off, whoever is talking will be eliminated and removed from screen. And that will continue until we have one person left on screen. And ignore the bottom rule, because that does not apply today with no stereo. And then there will be consequences for the losers and perks for the winners when we get to our interview with Paul Preston here. Hey, how you doing, Dagan?
Hey, Dagan.
What's up, brother?
Hello.
Okay, so we ready, Frenchie? All right, we're ready. Okay, yeah. Someone remind me. We've had so much go on here in the first 5 minutes. Someone remind me what the first match was of the week.
That was
Lieberman. Lieberman, because I won that match in the I wasn't playing anybody because no one else picked him up, but I won points.
Yeah, and Bradley Tingle. I was actually really impressed with Ty. You know, he seems. I was really impressed by him. He basically ran Sigourney Weaver, stole 2 points from Tingle, and he basically didn't have to. He TKO'd him in the end. So I was really impressed with him, and I think Bradley was just kind of arrogant a little bit, but hey, I thought Ty was actually pretty good.
Wait, you say you thought Bradley was a little arrogant?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really? I didn't get any arrogance from him. It was all the arrogance I got was from Ty Lieberman, which I understand.
Was Ty the one with the scarf?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, Tingle's the one with the Rubik's Cube.
I saw that match on Monday, so my brain is fried right now. So it's hard to remember who's who.
Yeah, gotcha.
I was completely surprised by Finstock Exchange once again.
Give me a J.
Uh-oh. There you go. Uh-oh.
Why did you do it again?
Well, okay, so I'll piggyback off what Jay was saying. I was again surprised by the Finstock exchange.
That happens because I can't take him off. Oh yeah, now I can because of radio. But technically, he's eliminated.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So Lieberman,
Okay.
Lieberman was I heard that he was Barbarian's he's one of Barbarian's buddies, and Barbarian's a dog at movie trivia, obviously. So Lieberman being a part of that, I'm not surprised by at all. Tingle's one of those late round draft picks. I didn't expect too much out of him, but Lieberman just rocked his shit. Like my man didn't even have to answer a third round question. The final score is 16-15. And Lieberman's going to be something to play with, especially in the Finstock exchange and all them rookies over there.
Yeah, and to go back to the arrogance thing, like I thought it was fine. It was whatever for his character. It's just sometimes it's a little weird when you have somebody who's never played before come off that arrogant. But I mean, when you're teamed with Bobby Finstock, it kind of goes hat in hand. But truthfully, they both did really well. But yeah, him going through that Sigourney Weaver category was pretty badass. Like that was a pretty good run from him there.
I mean, look at Radis. Radis is the same way over there at the exchange. Like he didn't play in the Schmoedown before. Then here he is. He's out here essentially being the Finstock Junior over there at the exchange.
Yeah, pretty much. You think he was the son.
One thing I want to say is that the swag is in real trouble. I mean, especially now they're enabled because now they're losing points from what they already have. So it's it's like real concern for the swag. I mean, they're in a real tough position now. So I'm gonna see how hopefully they can rebound back from their losses.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Soda.
No, you go ahead.
No, see, so this, like, I'm not too surprised at this Lieberman stuff. The Tingle stuff, yeah, it's a bummer. But with swag,
So yeah, I think I know where he was going with this. But when it comes to swag, like they do have the manpower that it's only temporary. They will fight back, and with what we saw later on with one of the cutscenes, hopefully everybody is on the same page now. So we will finally see the swag that we had last year.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out because it didn't have like a big finale. I was expecting like Chandru, Laura, and Paul to come in and just wreck shop and Jay's kind of return. But I was definitely impressed by Winston saying,
yeah,
get in line, people. I love that. And then Paul comes back. He's like, yeah, no problem, man. Glad to help. I'm like, okay, that was great, but I was kind of expecting like an alliance coming up to take down Winston.
So with me, like, yeah, the whole scene itself was great, but sometimes I feel a little jaded when it comes to these things because I've been watching wrestling all my life and I've been watching things like this. It's just like, yeah, I knew that Oyama was going to rat out everybody else to win.
Oh, I won one! Yeah! I won one!
Yeah.
Yay!
That was nuts.
It was.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. Like,
Chris, since you're a wrestling guy like me, I want to ask you this. Sure. Because you've seen a lot of storylines of wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just some of these, can you spot some of these from a mile away?
Yes.
Same.
I forget when it was or what match it was before, but the Jay Washington stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. I saw
like
it.
That. I think on Spin from the Reel a couple weeks ago, we had said something about Jay Washington, and people were like, "No, he's never coming back." It's like, well, like Bret Hart was never going to go back to WWE, and then there he was. You know,
yeah, exactly. Same with Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that.
Right. So, never say never. Never say, especially in the Schmoedown of all things.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, like I as soon as I saw the scene start. Excellent scene, by the way, but it's just like, okay, I knew Oyama was going to rat out everybody else. And it's just like with Roka, I've said it before, with Roka from last year's Spectacular, as soon as he popped up with the NWO shirt, I'm like, oh, come on!
Right.
See, that's what's different with me, is that I have not seen wrestling at all. I mean, I've seen a few matches, but I'm not as into it as you guys. So I kind of knew it was going to be someone that Chandru was talking to, but I was expecting someone that we haven't seen before. So I was in that zone. I was just not expecting Jay.
And it makes sense with Oyama because, honestly, out of all of them, he could easily have turned. It would have been believable. Either way.
We were actually discussing that last week with Frenchie's Corner, and Jay was like, no, trade him. Frenchie was like, no, you get Oyama to turn, And first, I agreed with Frenchie, but I like this better.
Oh, yeah. And of course he pops in for that. Of course,
Dude, Oyama had me going. I straight up for real was like, he's turning. This is going to be so awesome. He had me going. As for Jay Washington, that was perfect selection for that, who that person would be. But then this also got me wondering, like, if you remember back to the first draft, it was supposed to be Winston and Jay. And then in the very first, it was either the first or the second draft pick, they got into a little scuffle kind of a thing on stage, a little argument over the drafting. And I'm wondering, was all of this intended then? What do you guys, do you think 2 years ago or last year at the beginning of the season, they were like, okay, Jay and Winston, we're going to tell everybody that you're going to be co-managers. You're going to have a falling out on stage at draft. We're not going to hear about Jay for a year and a half, and then all of a sudden he's going to be the mastermind? Or do you think it was something that they made happen as time went on?
One question. Wasn't Jay supposed to have his own faction?
The Vipers.
So that's okay. So I was right about that. And then he was going to coach, or he was going to help Winston.
He's going to advise for them, yeah.
So, okay, just want to make sure about that. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We know Christian can actually think of plot lines years in advance, especially with the Paulie G's scenario crashing at the awards ceremony that one year, and then it doesn't get revealed until much, much later. So it's definitely possible. So can't rule anything out at this point.
But moving on, before we get out of this segment, that Star Wars match was awesome.
Oh yeah. What it needed to be.
These players they're blowing me away. I don't know why. It's because I'd never seen them before, so I didn't have high expectations for anyone, to be honest. I was stuck in that mentality of Ace, Demolanta, and Damon are going to run over everybody because they're the people I've seen for years, and they're the faces of Star Wars and Schmoedown. No, man, these young cats are good. Wow, I'm very impressed.
Howie and Whiteley, there were two guys I was awfully unfamiliar with as well. And I know people were giving Whiteley stuff because he's Intergeekdom first, Star Wars second, and then Howie hosts the Star Wars podcast, the Resistance podcast, whatever. So Howie has the clear advantage, and it was only down to a question. Like let's also keep that in mind. The Star Wars division is awfully difficult this year, and the talent, even the new faces, like the Lacey's, the goal leaders, the Jack and Con players, Whiteley and Howie, there's a lot of talent in this division. The Star Wars is going to be the division to probably keep your eye on for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be just like it was last year. It's going to be the division. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming the most competitive.
Oh, for sure.
It's always been like that. You can't. Whenever you get a new person in Star Wars, you got to expect that Christian is looking at the top tier talent because you can't afford it. We had Ace on here last week, and he's kind of said that everyone in the Star Wars division has to play perfect in order to have a chance in this division. So you have to expect that these players know exactly what they're talking about.
Right. And the thing with these Star Wars competitors, right? Like, what's the weakest performance we've seen this year out of Star Wars? Was it Sullivan, and he still dropped 20? I think
so.
And now, the 3 and the 5 messed him up towards the end with those back-to-back Rogue One questions. But besides that, Star Wars has been killing it this year. Whether you're new or you're a vet, like Sully.
Yeah, you can tell we're at a point where the league is one of the top divisions when what's considered a bad match is still a really damn good match.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I would say the Sullivan and Wilson match. They had kind of stumbled on a few of their questions, but that's probably it. I mean, everyone else is kind of the lowest one is 8 points in round 1, and again the lowest point in round 2 is 7, and they're almost perfect in round 3. There's only a missing 1 or 2 questions, so it's really it really is very competitive, and that's kind of like what we're seeing with the division overall.
Yeah. It's the Star Wars division, and this has come from a guy who was a Star Wars convert. Like before last year's tournament, I'm like, nah, man, Star Wars ain't like. There's obviously some top dogs, but those are the dogs, and that's it. Then a Star Wars tournament happened, and I'm like, all right, I'll shut up now. Like I see what's up. I buy the hype.
Yeah, going into last season, it almost felt hard to like justify, for me anyways, having Star Wars as own league, because I mean I would have put like the MCU over just based we have more.
Right.
But yeah, whoa, after what happened last year and seeing what we're seeing this year, it's the reason why it was the most exciting.
Hell yeah. I don't know, man. I'm super excited. I will say before we move on to our next segment that I miss the days when Baby Carrots and Ellis and Harloff were playing also, because when they played in those days, I could actually compete in the Star Wars.
Same here.
Right.
Not anymore.
Yeah, these questions are great.
Yeah.
But right now, everybody,
I'm going to talk dirty to you for a second. Math.
we got double D's, sexy numbers. Dan, take it away for us, buddy.
Okay, so Chris, you weren't here last week, but one of Frenchie's Corner questions was, is the -1 from a TKO necessary? Now, Frenchie said that it is. Jay said no, it wasn't. Now, I was on the side of Frenchie because it does regulate the increased amount of points for title matches, a fatal 5-way, fatal 4-way. All these matches have increased their points. So and Frenchie made this point. That's why I couldn't really say anything, because he said that you need something to actually balance it out or regulate it a little bit.
Right.
And one of the arguments I said was that if we were going to change something with TKOs and not KOs, was maybe increasing or decreasing or changing KOs to -2 instead of -1. But I'll say this: it should not be changed because the +1 to the winner already serves that purpose anyway.
Exactly.
But even if that wasn't the case, or even though that is the case, even if we have to change something with the TKOs and the KOs, I would still be for it because KOs are so much harder to have. So so let's look at the proof of this over the years. So in 2014, 2015, there's been 13% and a 17% of KOs that happened per participant. So if this was out of 100, this would be 13 participants and 7 participants in 2014 and 2015, respectively. But the reason why this is because, one, KOs were so much easier to achieve because of the way the Schmoedown was at the beginning, because it was like Jeopardy, where you could bet all your points or you could bet none of your points. So that's why and there was so fewer matches to begin with. So obviously there's going to be an increase with knockouts, KOs in that scenario. But it's between 2016 and the current version do we see the TKOs being on the rise. So it's 2016, it was there's 11% of TKOs and a 4% of knockouts of KOs. 2017, it was 13% with TKOs and 3% of KOs. 2018, it's 18% of TKOs, 6% of KOs. 12% is in 2019. It was 12% of TKOs, 6% of KOs, and last year it was 12% of TKOs and 4% of KOs. So I know that's a lot of numbers, but basically the summary is that we're only looking at anywhere between 3% and 6% of this happening, of a knockout, a KO happening in a given season. So even if there was a change of points with -2 to a -2 points for a knockout, we're only seeing that from anywhere between 3% or 6% time of it happening.
Okay.
But obviously, the more occurrences is TKOs, as we can see, it's close to like anywhere between 10 and 20% of it happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my kind of proof of it happening. Why I would still be for a -2 change if there was ever to be a change between TKOs and KOs. So what are your thoughts on this?
First of all, just to give my 2 cents on the matter, I really enjoy the fact that people lose points if there's TKOs and KOs because it adds more stakes and it adds more like it gives the players more incentive to do well. Really, at the end of the day, because obviously, like you saw in the beginning, people are just throwing points like it was nobody's business. Like they're like, "Oh, okay," because they thought it was for fun. And I know, like, that's a whole different case, not to what the Schmoedown is, at least what we saw yesterday and things like that. But like the biggest spike was in 2018, and I like that's at least in regards to TKOs. But like that's wild to me how many TKOs have happened over the last few years. And really knockouts, because we don't get to see, like you said, we don't see too many knockouts nowadays. We've seen one this season, and that was the one. It was a Saul and Humphrey. That was it.
Yes.
But TKOs happen like once a week, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, there is about maybe, let's see, 20% chance of happening within a given season. So out of all the matches that happen, 20% of those matches will be a TKO. But that's so much easier because you can still be 1 point behind and it's still considered a TKO.
Right.
Whereas you can be 10 points behind and it's still a TKO. So there is that gap between 1 and 10 that can result in a TKO, whereas a KO, it has to be 11 points or more. So if you look at my graphs on all the possible points that could happen in the Schmoedown, there is a line, or actually a line is more like this, and you only see like a little bit of dots right here, whereas like that line where it would be a TKO line, they're all over there. So that's kind of proof in the pudding, because you can have that wide range of being points behind, and it's close, but it's still considered a TKO if you don't overtake that shot.
And this year, I feel like when you at the end of the season, or whenever you do this next season, and you look at the TKO numbers, I feel like I forget how many we had last year, at least in regards to the percentages. What was it, 12 or 13?
We have like,
or for TKOs.
Oh, TKOs. Well, that'd be 12%. Yeah. Actually,
okay.
We're doing it a little bit fancy, so I actually have the numbers right here. So so we had 60 defeated. So we had 23 TKOs and 7 KOs last year. 7 KOs total for the whole year of 2020.
Okay.
The most that we've had in KOs is 12 in 2018 and 2019.
Okay.
But as you can see, like with TKOs, they happen a lot more frequently, almost double, sometimes triple. But the most is obviously the defeated, where it's obviously quadruple or all of them. So it's we're doing things a little bit differently. I actually have full control of the.
No, you're good. But this is it. I never really thought of the Schmoedown that way, about how many TKOs and KOs that we get, and my thing with like losing points and everything. It's like, and I'd rather the losing KO only lose the 1 point, because if we start losing 2, we'll start getting a little bit out of hand, especially with we can get a KO any day. We don't know. Like I was shocked when Saul manhandled Humphrey not too long ago, but that was the only one that we've seen. And with the level of competition now, it gets better and better every year. And I don't feel like we'll even hit 12 KOs this year unless we see more like just straight one-sided matches. But I think for the better of the product, Christian wouldn't put 2 competitors that way, if I'm being frank.
Yeah.
I do like this new way of doing it. Although once again, that was my bad for dropping the graphic off screen. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Actually, you're good. You actually put it in the perfect time. So we can actually look at it. So you can actually get a peek of my numbers and how I do things, and maybe do it on your own. But I don't think you're going to do that, because why do it when I can do it, right? Why do
Right.
someone else to do it, right?
Not going to steal your gimmick, Double D. I'm not going to steal your gimmick.
Thank you very much, Double D. Sexy numbers. Right now, we're going to bring Frenchie on screen for Frenchie's Corner. This should be a fun one. Hello, Frenchie. I look forward to being on screen with you, but every time we do this segment, you just make me want to pound my head against a wall, dude.
Yes.
Yeah,
Brain damage is all we want.
What do we got? What do we got this week, dude?
All right, so this is gonna be an interesting one. First one I want to start with is, and I'll bring in the ticker like usual. Is Kevin Smith championship material? Look, at first, like, celebrity. Even you were like, wow, why put celebrities? It only cheapens the game. And I said, but what if we get a celebrity that can really dominate, get those perfect rounds, be able to be on the same level as competition? So does that mean with like back-to-back TKOs, back-to-back perfect rounds in round one, is he championship material? And I'll start right away. I'm kind of contradict myself, but no, not yet.
Really?
Not yet. And here's the specific reason. He will be. He does not understand the game enough right now. Right now, round three rounds, he's starting to get it. He has the knowledge, but he's asking questions like a Whitney Seibold, like do I have multiple choice here? Can I still hear? He's a very busy man, COVID or no COVID. He doesn't probably have the time to watch every match, analyze everything, have meetings and strategy and pick on the wheels. And it might come eventually, but championship material, you have to master the 3-round game before you can even conceive to master a 5-round game. So he has the knowledge. And Stacey Howard is a very good competitor, but she is in no level, a Dan Murrow, a White, and those are the type of people that, the type of people that you're gonna have to go against in championship material. So his, in-head knowledge is there, his studying might be a bit there, but he's not even close enough to understanding the game, because strategy is just as important. Speed rounds, right? Knowing when to skip a question.
I've let you ramble for far. I've been being polite.
Right? For once, it's not you rambling, it's me.
Well, I've been polite. I assumed at some point you would stop your nonsense and let me speak some sense. Dude, if your only reason for why he's not championship material yet is because he doesn't have a complete and full understanding of the game, you're fucking. I don't even know what to say, dude.
I am fucking, but
I wish I was. Dude, you're fucking nuts. Now, dude, I would love to line up some of the greatest athletes and some of the greatest players of all sports. Line them up, the ones that everyone knows, and they've made all of the records. They're the best of the best. I would love to take them on. I would love to know what percentage of them honestly don't really have a complete and full understanding of the game that they have mastered. How many of them they mastered their positions? They've mastered the things that they need to do for their positions. They don't know what Flojo does over here. They don't know what so-and-so.
You just contradicted yourself, because
he's a master of he is a master of his position, which in this sport is answering questions and having the knowledge. Yes,
he hasn't. That's just said. They mastered the position. He hasn't mastered his position yet.
I was a child. There is never anything wrong with asking a question.
All right. So now you actually have to breathe. Apparently, breathing is important. So breathe. Take a breather.
I thought you were going to have a heart attack because you were trying to get me to stop, and I was not stopping.
Why are you still talking? Thank you. The players have to perfect their own positions. He hasn't perfected anything.
Skill. A pitcher's skill is pitching. He has to master pitching.
All right. So, like I was saying, he has to. Every position has to be perfected. That being said, he's not even close. I love seeing you yell mute. He's not even close. He's not, he's not even close to perfect. He will get there. He will get there. But he's not there yet. With a lot of training and understanding when to challenge, when not to challenge, and he's gonna get there, but not even close. So we are going to this. We are going to the second question. I am putting you back on in.
Oui, monsieur. I don't know what's going on. All I know.
Oh, I know you don't know what's going on. I know you don't know what's going on.
Dude, they have to master their skill for their position, dude.
You know what, bro? They have to.
And then that's why it's a team sport now.
Okay, good for you. They have to master. You have to masturbate because you have too much anger. All right.
I did not like baiting my own hook. True story. I did not like baiting my own hook. I was like 6, 7 years old. My uncle made me bait my own hook because I'm a fisherman.
All right.
He told me, you keep practicing someday.
Going on to the next question, because we got Paul Preston coming in. He's the man of the hour. You're not. I'm not. Let's go on to the next question before we go over his time, sir. So that being said, for the next, I love you, Joe Wade.
Was if you practice someday.
I'm still talking. All right. So for the second question, and this is gonna be heated, I think, man.
By the way, I'm sorry, but he really is. On a serious note, real quick. On a serious note. Dude, I didn't realize it until last night. I always had it in my head like he's a director. He's not, but dude, that man, that helps him a lot more than I ever imagined it would. That man is an encyclopedia.
And that's the thing, Jay Wade. So is Whitney Seibold. So is a couple of players. Yeah, play who you want. So is a couple of players, but they haven't mastered the game and they haven't put the energy to really fully understand. The hardcore players knows in and out of everything. Kevin Smith has a potential. This season, no. Next season, we'll reevaluate and ask the same question. That being said, here's another heated argument, I think, man. Should Hyoik go to first class league? I'm going to start with you, my friend. What do you think?
Absolutely yes. Nothing against him whatsoever.
Really?
But I mean, he's been in the Schmoedown for a long time. I don't think he's lived up to his potential. And based on some of Shannon's body language, it seems like I think maybe she's thinking that too. To be honest, I think she could pick someone up from FCL who could fit her better than what he is right now.
All right, so apparently the stars are aligning and there's a full moon. I completely agree.
No way.
I completely look. Hyoik is beat the Keats, right? He's an amazing player, but he's gonna fulfill two things. He has to fucking win. Okay, at one point he has to win. That brain is awesome. He has the most weirdest Prestons, right? He is a character of his own, right? But it's himself. I think. I really don't think it's playing a character. But it's fringing, right? FCL needs characters. They need someone that knows his shit. But I'm starting to feel like he's. Oh, wait a minute. I'm seeing someone yelling. I'm seeing some. Like I might even seen a fuck you here or there. Okay, so you want to challenge? Nod your head if you want to challenge. Okay.
Come on, that's no. How disrespectful of the both of you. How disrespectful. I didn't know we were being disrespectful today. It's Saturday. It's the afternoon. The sun's out over here in Oklahoma, and I'm over here rocking. But then I hear some shit about should a Hyoik go to the FCL? No, he shouldn't. Why would he?
Why?
Here, I'm going to give you guys some names.
Okay.
Here, and I'm going to ask you what all these players have in common. Tingle, Gubbins, Forbetti, Riley, Radis, V, Video Drew, Dewberry, Lomas, Mancuso, Liz Shannon Miller, and Mark Riley. What do those names have in common?
You know how to read, so that means
what do those names have in common? What do they have in common?
They're in the Schmoedown.
Yeah, and they all scored less points in their respective games than Mark Edward Hoyt did yesterday.
But you know what's the difference, bro?
All of them did. All of them. Every single one of them.
You know what? They have at least one win. How many times did he play?
All these people? Hell no. Look, I get it. This is Mark Edward Hoyt's first singles match. His first singles match.
Yeah, but he's not.
Half of those people that you named are rookies. Okay,
and he scored way less points than him.
But it's their first chance.
He's been in Schmoedown longer than them.
No, I'm sorry that my man's been plagued with teams matches with below average teammates, and then he shined in the horror free for all last year. Let's also keep that in mind. Oh, who did he lose to? Oh, the guy who would inevitably come the singles champion? My God.
I agree. Look, Jay, wait. If you give me a second, I agree, okay, that he is awesome. He shines. And if the FCL would be already fully stacked, cool. All right. But FCL needs people right now. There is a chance of transition. Yes, they do. Yes,
no, they don't.
Yes,
they added so many folks. They don't.
Yes, but that's the thing. They need established characters that people know already.
Frenchie, they do. They do. Yes, they absolutely do. They need character. They need not only characters, but people who have played. And dude, all I'm saying is he is not up to the standards of the Schmoedown as it is today. He is definitely up to the standards of FCL.
Yeah.
And thrive down there, and then it would benefit Shannon and Corruption because then she could pull someone up that could help them in the big leagues.
And as Soda wrote in the private chat, he's a combined 0-4. Okay, I get it. He's amazing. He's like a scrimshaw. I'm sorry to say, but he's like almost there, but doesn't finish. And at one point, you need to give him the tools because he's not gonna. Because right now he lost. Right, he's not gonna get repeat matches. You need to give a guy some chance to practice wins and put him to the level to be ready for Schmoedown. He's not at a level to be ready for Schmoedown because he's not getting matches. Because he's not winning.
And the reason you know that he's not ready for the level of Schmoedown is because he's been in the Schmoedown for a while now.
He's played 4 matches. And
that's why.
And 3 of them were teams, though, so we're going to pin it solely on him, though? That's unfair. That's awfully unfair.
You can't measure someone's career in Schmoedown by matches they played. It's by the years they played, the seasons that they've played.
It's no secret that Mark Edward Hoyt didn't become or didn't even show us the person he was going to be until A, he was drafted to Corruption, and B, we saw him last October. It's been 6 months. Can we please give our man at least a shot?
All right. So we got the man of the hour in-house right now. And look, I do appreciate you make valid points, my man. And this is no respect to you. And I hope he stays, right? But at one point, Shannon, look, she traded, I forgot her name. She traded someone after 1 loss, right? Shannon seems to have she has a goal. She's last.
That was a Bonnie.
No, but someone else, I forgot that, I think there was someone else. But Shannon seems very decisive, right? And she has one plan. She's last right now. So I have a feeling they will. I hope not. I really hope not. But it might be in his best interest to do so because he needs practice. He has all the potential, but not enough matches. And that solutions that problem. That being said, thank you so much, my Chris, for your passion. And because if not, we would have been kissing butts on saying, yeah, we both agree.
I had to say something. I just had to. I couldn't let this go any further.
All right, so I'll drop out. I'll put everyone back in. And we got my man, Mr. Paul Preston, coming in a couple of seconds.
Let's do it.
Okay, guys. As you know, we do the hot matches where we have a little hot potato game with the matches in the beginning with elimination rounds, and the consequences play out here in the interview. The winner, the last man standing, will start off the interview with Mr. Paul Preston, and we'll have him to himself until the second place person is brought in, third place, and then this time. I'm the loser. It's my show, and I get to come in at the very end of the interview, but that's okay because it is a game and we love it. That's how it goes. And our winner today was Double D. So, Double D, I'm going to get the hell out of here, and you go ahead and introduce our guest and get us started.
Well, hello, everyone. And from now on, I'm going to be talking like this in my sexy voice. I am proud to announce that Paul Preston is in the house. So can we please give a round of applause for the Powder Keg? How are you doing, Powder Keg?
They're applauding. You just can't hear it. They're applauding, though. It's happening.
All right.
There, Frenchie. Hey, Frenchie, Frenchie, wait, get Frenchie back here.
Yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way, but what are you wearing?
San Jose, baby.
Okay, that's respectable. Because I really was impressed with Wade's attire, right?
Okay.
But then I had to make sure you weren't running in contrast to him, but that's okay. Sharks are okay.
I'm Canadian. Hockey is a religion. I have to follow the religion if they come after me.
Why are you rooting for San Jose? You got Winnipeg.
I'm not rooting.
Toronto. You got.
Oh, bro. I got Canadian. I'm not rooting for anything except for the Canadians because I'm a Montreal boy. But I'm a guy. I love jersey fashion, and I've been collecting for like two months now. It's been an obsession, but I'm in it for the fashion, not the teams.
Man.
All right. So we'll probably talk later, but I'm out of here. This is not my segment.
Actually, Double D, get out of here. Frenchie and I are having it.
No, Frenchie, this is my time with the Powder Keg. So, Paul, my first question for you is, what made you want to partner with Ben Goddard?
Well, first of all, I need to say that was a very well put question, thoughtful and calmly delivered. I tune into the show and it's two guys yelling at each other. It's like if Skip and Shannon, Undisputed, actually hated each other instead of just putting on hating each other for the show. It's like, do not pardon my interruption. Suck my interruption would be more like what this show is called. But anyway, and then the dude just busted into the show and he's like, I got shit to say. I mean, everybody.
This must be my time with you. I don't know why Frenchie's coming in here with you. So
I don't know. Well, then the other guy,
I want to have a one-on-one person.
Dagan or whatever his name is, he was just like, I got shit to say too, and everybody's yelling. So listen, Double D, I'm gonna let that go. We're gonna get down to a nice, calm conversation. I was on a show the other day with Ferris and those guys, whatever show that was. Schmo Me the Money.
Okay.
You got all you after shows are pals, right? You get along.
Yeah.
And they were talking about different teams and who pairs up well with each other, and think they referred to it as who fills in each other's gaps. So I think Ben and I do that. You know, I'm one of the older folks in the Schmoedown. How can I prove that? I called myself folks, but I've seen half the crap that questions are about in the theater. So, and now I'm studying, which is why my first match went well, because I used to just kind of lean back on studying, or I lean back on my knowledge, but now it's knowledge plus studying, and watch out. Ben comes in as a young hotshot who knows a lot of stuff about Inner Geekdom, and that's great. So putting Inner Geekdom slices on that wheel really leans towards benefiting these Inner Geekdom players, because they can put something on there that might stick it to their opponent and it'll be a strength for them. So that's kind of fun to have those, because I'm not an Inner Geekdom competitor, but to have those skills on board what I do, we fill each other's gaps nicely. That's what I'm saying. Plus, isn't he cute? Isn't he just cute?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I guess we're joined with Soda. So Soda.
Here it is. People just yell and jump in the show. What kind of crazy show is this?
Well, we do have a game that we do, and whoever gets eliminated first has the least time with you, and whoever wins has the most time with you. So gotcha. I won, so I got the most time.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
That's it? You just got one question, and we're done?
We have to have enough questions for all around. I do have more if we have more time.
Double D, I don't even know what your name means.
Dan Dolinsky, so double D's.
That's disappointing. I went somewhere else. Soda, what do you got besides a Flames jersey? At least you represent Canada. That's more.
Well, I was going to ask, what team do you like?
Here's the thing. When I worked for Disney, I worked on their cruise line 20 years ago. I was big into Paul Correa and Teemu Selanne. So I easily become a Ducks fan because Disney owned them at the time. And so that's how I became a fan of theirs. Yeah. And I followed them all the way up through their Stanley Cup win out here, which was fun. But I also got a soft spot for the Blackhawks. And unfortunately, when I lived in Chicago for 4 years, they were not so great, but cheap tickets, fun time, go down and just watch a game. Then they became great for a run too there for a while with Patrick Kane and
I remember because I'm a Canucks fan and that's when they were playing.
I'm putting a Jet shirt, okay?
No, I'm not happy. Canada's happy.
Yes.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking is because Lou got his jersey fashion from me because I own jerseys for every team. So
Okay.
I was gonna try to sneak on one that you named the team. I was gonna go wear it, but a little hard on air. Because I do have a Mighty Ducks era Paul Correa style jersey.
I'll tell you something. I went to a Golden Knights game, and I am sold. Okay, now you can see them play out and about. There's a bunch of young punks, and they're really good. I'm actually a little behind on what their current status is. I mean, are they doing well?
They're doing what they've been pretty much been doing since they joined the league.
Okay, well then they could be in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
I need to get back on that train because that game. First of all, it's a whole parade from the New York casino over to the arena, and talking the mascot out front, the girls full showgirl outfits, a band playing music, and it just goes through, winds through all the outdoor. There it is.
Jesus
and
Christ, Lou.
It's insane. It is such great energy, and then you get to the place, and there's like a huge throne with like a whole party and all these drums and stuff up in the corner, and they do this huge video where this knight is chasing down. I don't know if you've seen any of the. They play it in the telecast, but
on Hockey Night in Canada, I think. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then the whole video, there's like a flash of thunder. It starts playing out on the ice, and so there's a whole. There's like 90 minutes of show, and then if time remaining, hockey. It's great. It is.
Yeah, great. And to answer your question, Vegas is currently second in their division behind Colorado.
All right, I need to get there. Oh, Colorado, yeah.
Oh, Colorado, they're playing like they're going to win.
Well, you couldn't deny the years when they were just dominating, So.
Oh God, yeah, that was the years I started watching hockey, which would have been the Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh years. I remember, I was the year they won the cup in 2001. I was, because I'm also from Quebec. I was visiting family. And so I was in Quebec when they won, and the head coach, Bob Hartley, was from my mom's hometown. And unfortunately, we left the day before the Stanley Cup parade in Hawkesbury. I was so mad.
Oh, I kissed the Stanley Cup when the Kings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they had a city walk, and you could just go up and I was working there at the time, so I had a buddy of mine called me and said, "Hey, not everybody knows about this. It's not like a massive line." And so I went up and we had a thing. Oh, last thing I'll say is screw the Red Wings. And I have a soft spot forever for the Sabres. I mean, Hasek should have won the cup with the Sabres. You don't go and win the Yankees of hockey, the Detroit Red Wings. And so Buffalo, just such a loser of a sports town. I lived there for 4 years of the Bills not winning the Super Bowl. So all this culminating in the first sports win they get, and the Bills are on the verge. That town's going to go bonkers. I was hoping to be the Sabres. I just don't know. I didn't not even follow.
Definitely not this year.
With La Fontaine.
Yeah.
The power play goal makes it 3. Another. I mean, the broadcasts of that show were outstanding. Anyway, that's speaking of hockey.
Yes, sir. With Buffalo, I do feel bad for them this year. Easily the worst team in the league, but it's mostly circumstance. Ugh.
Here's this guy again. Yeah, he just comes in.
Hi, Paul. My name's Chris. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm the guy that jumps in and abruptly interrupts any conversation that's had on Speaking of Schmoedown. But to go back to the Schmoedown, because admittedly I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm a big baseball guy. Go Cubs.
Sure. Let's go to the Schmoedown. Let's talk
but to take it back to the Schmoedown for a second, Dan talked about obviously your partnership with Ben Goddard going into the team's tournament. It's going to be happening very soon. But last year, I mean, it's no secret that in regards to your play, you had some difficulties with some teammates. With Tom, we didn't see we didn't see the success that a lot of people expected out of you and Tom. But now this year, going into it with Goddard, but the one constant is Kate. Kate was the one thing that you had last year, and you came back to her same faction, came back to the Den. So what about Kate makes it such a perfect fit for you? Because I always thought you were a player that you could have gone anywhere. You could have gone wherever you wanted to. And that's the vibe I got in regards to free agency. I'm like, if he wants to go to Kaiser, you can go to Kaiser. If he wants to go to Corruption, you can go to Corruption. But what about Kate makes you want to stay with, or made you want to stay with the Den?
First of all, I lean into enthusiasm. So she showed it. I responded. And then, dug a little deeper on what she had planned and, her draft tactics and how we were going to run this year differently from the past. Like I just said a few minutes ago before we got in the hockey jag, that I am studying this year. And mostly these are movies I've already seen, because I've been around. So she was all about that. And we're both leaning into that this year where we didn't before. So these hungry rookies on the den are no joke. So look out. We already had Peggy Gubbins with the wins. Just keep watching.
Yeah.
I want to see what they do next because they jump into these study sessions and they're all fired up. And so it's more of a group effort than it ever was before. And Kate is, nurturing that. And Kate, listen, if someone just told you that, listen, because I had no reason for anyone to really love me after last season. I crapped the bed. But for her to then come around and say, you're the guy, we're putting this team on you. I mean, how could I not step up and try and be the best player I possibly could? So it's all changed this year. And, like a lot of things, it comes down from the top. Look, is Kaiser a great manager? Who would know? He didn't get the chance to nurture talent. He's the Yankees. He brought in the free agents that were a big deal, and he just sits back and gets wins. Is he any good at nurturing talent? I mean, clearly, if we go as far as we hope to in the den this year, she's taken Goddard and I and turned us into a machine that's going to churn out wins, and then brought in the supporting cast to help, including some other returning people like Silvestrini. So.
Right.
Before we go on to the Gompo old man called Jay Wade, we do have a question from our man Dagan, so I'm just gonna put it on and see what you say.
If you and Ben win a match against Lightning Time, would you most want to face out with the? Who would you
want to go? Who would you want to go against, bro?
Yeah. Double D, you won this opportunity?
I'm sorry, I haven't practiced. I haven't practiced the reading. I didn't know.
Don't worry.
He's not used to being in the host chair.
Yeah. This is my first day at host, so.
No worries, buddy. Well, look, this is a year of a lot of people running scared. A lot of people are afraid to play so-and-so, or all these Dragon Con people, they're so scary, and so Star Wars people are running with their pants at their ankles. Listen, Timolanta said you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. I've said on a couple of these shows, you go into prison, you got to knock the biggest guy in the workout yard on his ass in order to show your authority. So I'll take whoever. I can't sit here and go, it would be a nice, easy path to get that. I mean, as soon as we win, I mean, if it's going to be who the options in our bracket to play after that? It would be Roka's team, right, with JTE?
Yeah, Rushmore.
Yeah.
And then
Rushmore, Press Room, Danger Zone, Deception.
Yeah, that's on the other side.
My favorite team named the Midterms.
The Midterms.
Naming your team after something everybody hates.
Right?
Listen, we're the outsiders for a reason, because it labels us well. You got a bunch of guys passing belts around in this league, right? And it's time for someone to come in and shake it up. Adam Collins did that last year. Paul Oyama the year before. There's always somebody's got to come in and make a new name. Otherwise it's just Roka and Bateman and Merle and yawn. So those guys will be in the mix because they're good, but it's time for the outsiders to come in and say, didn't expect this, right? It's going to be a gang fight. And so I want to take on the big guys. I'll walk through anybody I have to get there.
And not to answer the question for you, Paul, but I think the correct answer is corruption. We want to see you face corruption at the end of this whole thing, don't we?
You're a corruption fan. I'm taking it. So yes. If you would like me to beat them, sure, I'll beat them.
Wait. I'm definitely a fan of Paul Preston. Look, when you debuted with Adam Witt with the movie guys, you definitely brought this different energy to the Schmoedown that at the time was lacking. I still think we're lacking. With these bigger personalities, we don't get to see them too often. And the people that get it, whatever it is, I thought you and Adam brought that, and y'all are still bringing that in your respective factions. So I mean, I like to see personalities against personalities, right? And if that's you against corruption, or you and Roka face off against each other on that side of the bracket, I'm all here for it.
Well, that's there was a lot to say there. First of all, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Attitude Era of wrestling. I watched it hardcore. I lived in Chicago. Oh, here comes a jersey or something. Okay.
Nope.
Oh, nice.
See, there we go. Damn right.
I was living in Chicago at the time, and I would buy a deep dish pizza on Monday night and watch Raw. And then they're so huge, I'd be still eating a pizza by SmackDown on Thursday.
Right.
And then you've heard a lot of talk probably about my late wife, Karen, but she ended up working on Tough Enough for season.
Oh, really?
So she was working in just in the production offices doing transcription and things like that. But she got to meet and work with Al Snow and some other people. And then we got to go see like a couple of matches up in Bakersfield, got to meet Hardy and Angle and all these people, and then went to a pay-per-view when Maven beat Undertaker. A huge sort of, when Undertaker's like, I'll give you this one, kid,
Yeah.
to try and put you over. And Maven was over for a bit there. And then Then I think the Attitude Era just got to be a bunch of boring white guys. No offense to like Cena, Batista, Orton, but none of them had like a Steven Richards thing or a Val Venus thing or something, or even like a DX thing. So
they were playing themselves.
I fear that there's some of that going on in the Schmoedown, and people so concentrated on winning they can't balance a character in winning. Where I try and do that. And Adam and I, of course, come from comedy. We met doing Second City in Chicago. And so on our movie guys nonsense, we've always tried to mix comedy and movies. And even now, the great part about us being on different factions is it hasn't affected us doing wacky shit like the Star Wars Free for All or the Flash of Genius matches. And we got another little weird video coming up soon. So thankfully, that hasn't hindered our ability to play because we do like bringing all the nonsense as well as the good gameplay. And Adam's getting crazy, doing some crazy training over there from what I'm told. I'm not privy to it. They're trying to tell me at the den, what does Adam know? I'm like, we were a team. Oh, and going back to when Adam and I were a team, we came in and we took Shazam had to score like the most points in history at the time, I think, to beat us. So, I mean, that was after a stumble out of the gate against Inky and the Brain. And that's, was our first match. We were picking wrong categories and kind of stumbling. But then I thought that match was great. But then after that, we were kind of we went our separate ways. And like I said, over at the dungeon, he's got a whole new bag going on. And I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm excited to see the results.
Wow.
What was your question?
Thank you for getting to me, sir. I appreciate it. No, thank you for your time today. First of all,
wait. Let me interrupt. Pardon the interruption, but
select the interruption.
I gotta ask, how old is Old Man Wade? Like, this has got to be some kind of joke that you're old.
Frenchie says I'm like an old man, and I don't know. I suppose he envisions me out there yelling.
He's not old in numbers. He's old in soul. I swear to God, he does. He probably already yells at people being on the lawn. Okay, the way he complains, he's an old soul in a young man's body. That's what I mean.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's an apartment complex, so the only people I yell at for being on the lawn are people who don't live in the complex. So let's be some credit.
You're like that great line in Knocked Up when Leslie Mann's trying to get in the club and Craig Robinson says she's too old and she's all offended, and he goes, "No, you're not old for the earth, just for the club."
Yeah,
that's you.
No, I'm 42 though. I'm not that old, but I do kind of ramble like an old man. But something I've always been interested in from competitors is the initial conversation that they had with Christian or Mark when they joined. I was just curious, when you joined, was it a situation where did they approach you? Did you approach them? What was that conversation like when you first started up in the Schmoedown?
Adam and I have been doing the movie guys since 2009. We were shooting videos in my garage and putting up stuff and having some fun. And then, we kind of got on everything right when everybody else did. Like, hey, let's do a podcast. And everybody did a podcast. But either way, we started doing it at a place called the Toad Hop Network. And if you know anything about LA, Heidi and Frank are the morning show here, one of the big ones on KLOS. They lost their job or left 103.5 or wherever they were and started this podcast network. They've since closed that network because they went back to 95.5. And now they're talking about launching a second channel that's all talk. But this their Toad Hop Network, the Schmoes were on it. And so Adam and I pitched ourselves to be on it. So then we were on it. And then we were like back to back on Thursday. So that's how we got to know those guys back in the day. And then Toad Hop closed. We went off and did our thing. They went off and did their thing. And their thing was nurturing this giant of a sport in movie trivia. So for some reason, they stayed on the Movie Guys newsletter. That anyone who I met, I just stick them on the newsletter and try and keep them updated with what we're doing in terms of videos, podcasts, articles, reviews, interviews. And so he just saw the thing. I wonder if those guys are any good at movie trivia. And he said, he shot me a letter. Christian did. And I said, you guys good at movie trivia? I said, we come to play and come to win. And then it became just refining how we want to enter the league and how we can make the biggest impact, which originally and still kind of is win or lose, be memorable. Although now there's a little more emphasis than there was before on wanting to win, because I've gotten into the mix and see that I'm pretty good if I don't screw around. So now I think I've found that nice balance between comedy and playing the game well. If you saw the last promo I did, it was weird.
I was gonna say, speaking of which, how did that DVD sandwich taste? That was awesome.
It was wheat bread and low-fat mustard, so it was good. It wasn't splurging. It wasn't like I had beef and an Italian roll. Come on.
What was the movie? Do you remember what the movie was?
It was blank. I'm not gonna eat a real DVD. I'm gonna waste a real DVD on a bit. That was just a blank. I put it upside down, It's
a good point.
Because the dating problem is like I'm getting.
Yeah, just think or find the worst movie in your collection and just eat that. As like,
I know, but that's the problem, and that's still something I'm overcoming in the Schmoedown, is like trying to know facts about horrible movies. It's a thing, It's like in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I saw it once and just actively worked on trying to forget it, and now I got to remember all that crap for
now I got to watch it again.
I don't know if I go that far.
It would have made my day.
I don't hate it that much, but there are some scenes I might,
I am not you.
It's the CGI that bugs me the most about the movie. But when you did that promo, it would have been awesome if it was a Limitless DVD. That Bradley Cooper movie where he ingests the pill and knows everything.
Oh, I thought you hated that movie. I'm like, okay, but the bit.
Oh no! I'm talking. The comment was Crystal Skull. It's whatever, but it's the CGI that I didn't like about it. If that makes sense.
If I bought a Limitless DVD for this or Blu-ray, then I'm investing. And who wants to? I don't want to have a budget. I don't want to have a budget doing this stuff.
Yeah, agreed. I would invest for the bit.
the next time Paul Preston plays in the movie Trivia Schmoedown, I mean, after that win against James White, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
When you do play next, whenever that is, or whoever you play next, I will happily invest in the Limitless DVD for the bit. But no, is there someone
the next bit, bro? I got tons of bits.
I know, we can talk. I'll hit you up. But the thing with you beat James White. Like James White obviously was a guy who just got unlucky in this competition, and you added your name to that list, right? Like he played top tier guys, he lost the top tier guys. Like, I mean, Frank Moran, no diss to the guy, but he was probably the weakest he played of the bunch. But now moving on from White, like who are you looking at in regards to like either the top 10 of the rankings, or do you want to go against a guy like Bateman who's out here talking his smack, or you want to go and find your way into that whole like Chance Ellison type of thing, and Brendan Meyer maybe he's coming off a loss, but he's still like a higher ranked competitor. Who are you looking at, or where are you looking at in regards to your next match?
Well, I have a feeling. First of all, I called out Bateman a little bit after my match because in the off season, I think about the tentacles he put out there into every team, talking and interviewing everybody. He was probably just gathering data about everyone and not being honest about who he would want to team with, obviously, until you saw who it was, the easiest Scottie Pippen choice to make. But then I think it would have to be someone probably who's also won this year. So that limits the field a little bit because we're all trying to gain on the next, get to the next step as we work towards a number one contendership. So, I mean, Kevin Smith just won. I mean, how fun would that be, right?
Oh, God.
We'd have some fun.
Yeah.
We'd have a good time.
Yeah. If you're talking about mixing comedy and skill, that's going to be a match for the ages of that.
That'll definitely be memorable. Since you're familiar with Chicago, Paul, you talked about pizza. What was your favorite deep dish pizza from Chicago?
Okay, I am not a Lou Malnati's guy because of its lack of awareness. When I lived there a long time ago, over 20 years ago, it wasn't a thing. It may have been a thing, but not the thing it is now where everyone's like, it's the best. For me, it was Giordano's or Gino's. Nice. I worked at Gino's East. It was good. The cornmeal crust wasn't quite as much a thing I enjoyed as Giordano's. So Giordano's is my jam. I've had it sent out here frozen. Wow. That being said, Gino's East is now here in the Valley. So I don't know if you guys are in LA, but they opened Gino's East just the other side of Coldwater on Riverside. And so I've already gone there a couple times and gotten the legit, authentic, because there are people out here who've tried Chicago deep dish pizza. There's a place called Massa in Silver Lake. And then George Mantegna had a place called Taste Chicago. That just closed recently, but they wasn't quite right. They chopped up the pepperoni. Gino's does the weird thing where they put the disc of sausage on the pizza. That's the size of the pizza. So every bite you get some.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so Giordano's is my ideal, but Gino's because it's close. So,
yeah. Personally, there's a pizza place. There's two pizza places where I live. It's called Pudgy's and Doreen's. I preferably like Doreen's because they have a barbecue chicken pizza that's thin crust. But I love the Pudgy's sauce. It's just, you can taste all the ingredients that they use. And it's just like, mwah.
Where do you live, Double D? Where?
Chicago. I live in Chicago.
And you're eating Pudgy's?
Yeah, outside of Chicago, like real close to the Indiana border.
I grew up in upstate New York, and they had a Pudgy's. I'm wondering if it's the same franchise still hanging on. Because
this was a mom and pop shop, so I think it's a coincidence that they
used to be a little mini chain called Pudgy, but it wasn't deep dish or anything. But
no disrespect, but nothing beats a Hawaiian pizza. I'm just saying.
Dude, okay, Frenchie, you got it here.
I'm not a Hawaiian hater, but it's not my first choice.
Well, that's the thing. Here's the deal. Everybody out in LA, these New Yorkers who live out here, and they can't stop talking about their damn pizza. Relax. Stop it. There's Peggy Gubbins is joining.
Hi, Peggy.
I want to get her take, too. Peggy, put in the chat, please.
Gino's Peggy knows what's up.
Or Giordano's or Lou Malnati's. Now, she's younger, so she may have a Lou Malnati's thing. But where was I going with this? Oh, I wasn't. I forget.
So not to blow your mind, but I had this pizza last night. I guess it's Canadian only because none of these guys have heard of it. It's a KFC popcorn chicken pizza from Pizza Hut. It's popcorn chicken. Yeah, I was really high when I had it, and I'm paying for it this morning.
There are no excuses to have shit like pineapple and fucking chicken and ham.
Wait a second. Now, Double D dropped the barbecue chicken pizza. Now, in Chicago, I also work for a place called Bertucci's. Now, Bertucci's is brick oven pizza. It's really good. There's a lot of places that are like it now.
Word. Respect. Peggy, respect.
Any place that serves barbecue chicken pizza, I will give it a day in court. I mean, I go to a bar, they got it. I'll try it anywhere. And a lot of places do pretty well by it. I mean, Bertucci's had the caramelized onions as well as the barbecue chicken. I mean, it was really good. But so I think out here, because we don't have a great pizza like a New York pizza or a Chicago pizza, our thing is gourmet pizzas. It's putting ham on it and pineapple, all this interesting tastes and risks and experiments, and a lot of them pay off. I think a lot of them, not all of them, but we got to have something out here in LA that's
there's I know how everybody feels about Hawaiian, but I've had a Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizza that actually was really good. Barbecue sauce and pineapple, surprisingly a good combination.
I can imagine.
And I'm just saying the best pineapple, because look, I'm a pizza restaurant manager and call center director, okay? So I know my fucking pizza. The best Hawaiian pizza you can get is pineapple, bacon bits, jalapenos with garlic sauce instead of tomato sauce. Best shit ever, man.
Go back off screen, dude.
Yeah. Jesus.
I was with you up until the garlic sauce, but I can't have garlic, so it's a no-go for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he wants to brag. Dude, I had Pizza Hut last night. That shit sucked. I couldn't even warm it up in the oven and get it to taste right.
The worst pizza ever. It still might work, so I'm just saying.
Not for a lot of comments like that.
At least he's on it.
Eh? Yeah. And he was just promoted, too.
Taco pizzas
are good. I've had pierogi pizza as well, which is really good.
What the hell? Look, So I'm as a Northwest Indiana boy, no stranger to Chicago, but I am like Giordano's is the way to go. That's where if you're gonna spend some money, Giordano's is where you're spending your money. Yeah, Gino's East is definitely a jam too. So Peggy 100%. But damn, out of the big chains, bro, like you're not going to Illuminati's first. You know, that's like the touristy. That's where if you're not from Chicago, it's like, oh, I want pizza. You're going to Illuminati's, I guess, by default.
Interesting.
But
So
Giordano's to me.
None of y'all mentioned Uno's. I've had it.
That's another good one.
Chicago, but I was under the impression that was like one of the top places, and none of y'all mentioned it. But I've only been to Chicago like times.
Look at someone already said, "Welcome to Speaking of Pizzas." So should we get back to talking about hockey?
Yeah. I was before we get back to all that. There's nothing that beats a pizza cooked in a stone oven.
Yeah, we got a place here in Dayton.
Yeah.
That has a stone oven, old scratch, dude.
Mhm.
Good shit.
That was Bertucci's in Chicago, which
Oh,
may
yeah.
or may not still be there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That whole downtown area was changing.
In my small ass town, we just got one that opened up called Mia's Pizza. That's pretty damn good.
So Schmoedown, yeah, that's a thing we like talking about.
Wait,
Yeah,
let me cap the pizza talk. I went to Italy in 2012, and the best pizza I've ever had in my life was at a small plate, like little cafe next to where I was picking up the ferry to go over to Naples. It was so cliche, but the best pizza I ever had was in Italy, in Palermo, in Sicily.
What was it, if I may ask?
It had prosciutto on it. It was really good.
Oh,
So that's what made the difference was the prosciutto? Was that it?
Maybe, I don't know. And then the cheese and oil, and it might have had basil. I
dude,
took a
it's
photo.
been
of
9
it.
years. It's been 9 years.
But I remember it. But I don't think I ate pizza with prosciutto on it otherwise very much. So
Yeah, I can't say I've ever had that.
But yeah, back on track here. I could go on about pizza, actually. I would-
Right.
but we got about 10 minutes left here. You guys, let's bring up the pay-per-view match last night. First of all, Paul is a competitor, sitting back and watching people that you could very well be playing in the future last night, like Kevin Smith or Stacey Howard, whoever. Well, what were you I assume you've watched it last night. I shouldn't just ask you questions with that, assuming like that was it. Assuming makes an ass out of you. Anyway, this is what happens when I try to think. This is why they called me Old Man Wade, I guess.
Yeah.
He just rambles.
But
Short-term memory kicks in.
as a competitor, what were your impressions from the pay-per-view?
we're all great on our couch. I've killed playing Schmoedown on my couch watching a match. I looked down at the points I scored, and I could have beat both the people in the match. Last night's title match was tough when you got to round 3. I thought 1 and 2 were pretty. I could hang with 1 and 2, and 3 was pretty interesting. There you go, like the Nanny Diaries, huh? Like I was telling you, these bad movies. I don't know if it's a bad movie, but I haven't seen it because it didn't look like a good movie.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of movies they got to dig a little deeper on and understand more, because there's going to be questions out there. So that one was rough. And the 5-pointers, I think I got one of the 2 of them that they had. So I think if I got Myrtle's line of questioning, I might have beaten Adam, maybe. But they both played great, just as they did before. Didn't take it to OT this time, but they can't always. They can't all be Damon DiMolanta. But I thought they were super entertaining. And yeah, the Smith-Howard match was not as close as I thought it would be. Stacey's got a great record, and she has this history of making these amazing pulls out of thin air. And Love and Mercy was one of them yesterday after a couple of JTEs. I knew that one right away, but I'm like, oh, she doesn't know that one. And then she did. I was like, oh, Stacey, that's what she does. So you got to watch out. But I was shocked it didn't go into a longer match. But that's what I thought of the 2 of those matches.
I really liked her challenge with Kevin's bonus question, because he said the life and times of Harvey Milk. I'm like, no, it's not. And then Karloff gave him the point. I'm like, what?
And the argument I would make, and I think she said it in the series of arguments they made, that it's not just that he said too much. He said a different movie. Like, that is a different movie. Like, if you said, which film, blah, 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 about skateboarders, and you said Dogtown and Z-Boys. No, it's Lords of Dogtown. Dogtown and Z-Boys is the documentary about those guys, so it's, you got to be right. Well, I said Dogtown, yeah,
Yeah.
You kind of gotta make that call of throwing a challenge out there, and I think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I mean, we have had precedent, especially with names mostly than movie titles, where it's just like, that could be another person. So you have to challenge. I agree 100% with her challenge.
And Smith made it entertaining too.
Of course.
Talking about how well, I said all these other things. I said T. Hanks, Tom Hanks. I didn't mean T. Hanks, Tom Hanks. I meant Tom Hanks. So that was entertaining, but didn't help him any. I mean, I think that's a pretty solid judgment.
It was entertaining, but honestly, it was an absurd argument. But I noticed something last night, and I was kind of not really amazed, but has to do not really the question writing itself. The question writing's been great, but in the speed round, they had the $1 Million Baby question, which was best supporting actor, which was Morgan Freeman. Then, like 2 questions later, it's asking for a female in the fighter. And that, I believe that is what did the trip up for Merle when
absolutely
because I did it too. My mind went right to Hillary Swank, but then I had to catch myself and go, wait a minute, no, that was $1 Million Baby. But I love how I don't know, that was just brilliant. If it was not intentional, then it was a great thing that just happened to happen. But if it was intentional that they set those questions up like that, then that was beautiful, beautiful work.
I would like to think it's intentional. Same with my match when James pulled 70s and he had the question about the Richard Gere movie where he plays a farmer, blah, blah, blah. And it was Days of Heaven, but he said the other Terrence Malick movie, Badlands. So it got to me to steal, and the options were Badlands, I can't remember the other one, and then Days of Heaven and Gates of Heaven. So now, if you remember, of course, Heaven's Gate is a very notorious flop from the late 70s. So it's like, oh, they want me they're trying to trick me with the Gates of Heaven, thinking Heaven's Gate, not today. So I said Days of Heaven. I got the point. But that kind of, I think that's all deliberate, and I think real smart and tricky, making it tough for us, and they should.
Yeah, well, it seems to have worked last night on Merle on the GOAT. Made it even that much more of an interesting game, man. That's one when that's the results of the speed round. That's when I shit myself. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nail biter here. And I have Merle on my fantasy league roster, so I was really, really rooting for him too for that reason. So
both matches were interesting in their own way. The Smith Howard one. This was, I mean, no offense to Jericho or the Flirtenflaus, but this was Smith's first real challenge in the Schmoedown with Stacey Howard. And like Stacey, like what Paul was saying, like she can hang. Like there are days where she stumbles a little bit, but there are also some days where she, like what Paul said, pulls shit out of the air and she can kill it. And she's done really good. She's done really well in her matches. So I expected the Stacey to come out where she was going to do really, really well. Paul Smith, if you can totally make that happen, Paul. Yeah. But the stuff with like Smith will look great at the end of the second round, and then the third round panned out the way it did. But Smith's next match now, because he's beaten Stacey. Like Stacey, I think that's a quality win. But who do you put against Smith now? Is it Paul? Is it like a Video Drew? Who do you have face off against Kevin Smith? You can have Video Drew face Paul. Keep that in mind too. But
that's the deal. It's like a winner, I think, going back to my previous theory, again, I don't set this up, but it seems like a winner earns the right to play another winner as you try and get enough wins in a row to get that next opportunity towards the belt. So who's out there? Drew, you said, right? Oyama, right? One. Yeah,
Oyama beat Bibiani.
Brendan. So a lot of good players. And so, if you still don't think, I mean, Stacey was 7-5 or something like that. I mean, that's decent records for Kevin to take on. If people think Smith hasn't arrived yet, then if he can beat anybody else that's out there, then he will.
Oh, for sure. And it makes me kind of wonder, you could tell he was little influenced last night. So it makes me wonder if he wasn't on that, how focused he would be.
Yeah, well, I mean, he said it's helped him out, right? He says,
"Yes, fair point."
Or clearly the record shows.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe we should start, looking at doping and doping, like others, all these sports. It kind of brings them down.
Oh my God! Somebody in the Schmoedown got a hold of the Limitless pill.
We look into doping, and suddenly there are like 2 competitors left.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
All right, that's about it for today, guys. Before we go through our plugs here real quick, Paul, thank you once again for your time. You want to go ahead and plug anything at all? What you got going on, social media, anything? Have at it.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm impressed that you guys have an end time to your show.
Yeah.
There's so many shows that are like, we're on our 5th hour. Let's keep going. Yeah, I'm like,
that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, my friend.
Frenchie's like, put the cord down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll plug, of course, the Ford Fiesta. Adam, like I said, the Adam and I still get to do nutty stuff, even though we're in different factions. And the Movie Guys' latest podcast is called The Ford Fiesta. It's everywhere. Just search The Ford Fiesta, Apple Podcasts, Google, Pandora, Podbean. TheMovieGuys.net is the website where all of our nonsense is. And The Ford Fiesta is a look at every Harrison Ford movie. Each episode is a different Harrison Ford movie, going chronologically, starting with Dead Heat in a Merry-Go-Round 1967 on through the last year's Call of the Wild or whatever he puts out next.
Shit.
And this, where we are now, is super fun. We just did Dead Heat in a Merry-Go-Round, Love, A Time for Killing, and Journey to Shiloh. Next up is Getting Straight. These first 5 movies, like, what are they? We have a lot of fun with them. And then we get into, then it's American Graffiti, then The Conversation. Then Star Wars, then it's no joke after that. So it's a fun show, and it's only going to get better as the movies, because we know more about the movies and have a lot of fun with that. So at The Movie Guys everywhere on social, look for the Ford Fiesta and themovieguys.net. Thank you.
Yes. Real quick plugs, guys, because I'm actually going to be heading over to Schmoes of the North directly after this and helping out with Mount Schmoedown over there. So Soda, who is also from Schmoes of the North, thanks for being a guest co-host again here.
Of course. So you can find me over on Schmoes of the North on various shows over there. You can also find me on Media Sweaty Network on 3 shows over there as well. And then later tonight, I am guesting on something with Chris here, who I'm going to let plug on that one.
Excellent. And Chris, take it away, bud.
Yeah, you can follow me on my Twitter handle down here at C Anthony Lopez. You can catch me on the WAT Real 2 E's Entertainment YouTube channel. That's where I have my Schmoedown after show called Spin from the Reel every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. My wrestling podcast, that's every Friday. We did that yesterday. It was a little WrestleMania prelude because WrestleMania is this weekend. And as what Soda was alluding to, we have our WrestleMania watch-alongs tonight. So if you are watching the grandest stage of them all, come hang out by our channel. And if you have trouble finding us, just type in Spin from the Reel REEL, Schmoedown, and you'll find our videos and our channel. So come check us out. I thank you guys for having me on the program again. Paul, it's a pleasure meeting you. And this is great.
Yeah, same here, Paul. It was a pleasure to meet you.
And Double D, not for that reason, but although I think about that too.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter simply at Dan Zelensky. And you can find me here every Saturday on Speaking of Schmoedown, running the numbers for everybody and telling how people did well or how people poorly they did, and maybe making some predictions along the way.
Yep, and y'all can follow me at JWade1134. That's the letter J, WADE1134. Also on the stereo and at the Jcast Network on stereo and the Twitter. This is the week of the Den. We got Thomas Harper as guest next week. Then Jess Schloth on the 24th, and the 24th we got a couple of really kick-ass guest co-hosts, and it's going to be a lot of fun that day. Some announcements. So everyone, thank you so much for being here for this week. Speaking of Schmoedown, until next week, everyone have a great and safe week. You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.